Hello guys, and welcome to some more CRL highlights, this time for the Baku Grand Prix, round 5 of the season, out of and this is for season 4 of course, and we're in the Renault, and obviously last time out in Spain we've got a decent point finish there in P5, bit lucky there, but here we are in qualifying and we're on our first run of the session. The quality is a little bit laggy, so I do apologise for any lag that you experience in this session, but yeah, it's a little bit laggy here as we head down into turn 1. And before the session, I'll just give you some background information. I was really struggling with the grip on the car, and I was running, I think, quite low wings. I think it was like 4.3 wings or something. So I was always experimenting with the setup, and it was only until like the last day of this basically pre-race and pre-quali, I changed it up to like 5.4 for my wings, and it worked quite well for me, and I had a really good confidence with the corners. And prior to this, on like my 4.3 setups, I just didn't have the confidence through the corners to really get it on the power. And and sort of the last practice session I did, I upped it to 5.4, as we're experiencing a little bit of lag here, and it really helped. Like I was doing the best laps I've ever done around this track. So around 5.4 for this race, it just seemed to be the best. It just worked for me better than running something lower. And I think also I was able to combat the straight line speed loss with the suspension. Obviously, you didn't lose much time as a result. So, running 5.4 seemed to help me a little bit more around this track, just have a bit more confidence with the corners. And this lap's been pretty decent on a set of soft tyres. Obviously, it's not going to be anywhere near what Rapidz has done, and he's pretty much on his own in this race. He's superb. This is actually my first league race round Baku. On this game, I didn't do it in AOI and GP2 last season. I missed out because that was supposed to be the race that I was supposed to debut at, but I didn't get the invite. But here we are into the sort of the last part, the switching left, right, and then here we come. And this is a long wait to the line to complete the lap, and I felt really confident on this day. When I ran around 5 for the first time, it worked very well, and I was very confident. Going into session, I felt that we could deliver lap times again. But obviously with the lack of practice running the 5.4 wings, it meant that I didn't have the ideal pace that I could have had. But now we're going on to later in the session. Our super soft run is coming up right now, as we did a 41.6 nearly on the soft tyre, and we're still in P4. So Imagine Moore is in front of us. And I think I actually gave him some slipstream actually on his lap, so he was pretty interesting to beat. But here we go, entering our lap now, our final lap of the session. And we've got to be aiming for 40, and actually the only time I was able to do it was actually a 41, I think the maximum was a 41.3 was actually the fastest I did on 4.3, but on my 5.4 setup, I was able to do like 40.7s. So within like a day, within like a switch on the wings, a switch to the wings, it really helped, and I found like 6/10. But this lap's been pretty good so far. First corner's been pretty well, and locking at the front left literally went so deep there, and I thought I was going to hit the wall. I actually legit just shut myself, and that corner there always does just catch me out all the time. And now into sort of chicane here, left, right. I always find it's very difficult. The right part especially, you have to short shift really quickly, which we don't do. We just rev it out, and that really, the traction wasn't the best through there. And then the double right-hander here, very difficult to get right, but we got that. We've actually done very well through there. Another car section, the dreaded part of the track for everybody. We go through pretty well, but then the second part, then the second gear, understeer a little bit, and that compromises our line. Don't get the optimal line here, and we lost a little bit of time from that. So we could have done a bit better through the car section, as we're now heading down to this downhill section now, and then down second gear, cutting it. You have to cut it really, otherwise you get the car on the right hand side, and we do never get that pretty well. This is actually the last actual corner, in my opinion. This sets you up for the last run. We a little bit wide there, and get a bit carried away, but we know that this time was good and it was up. But it didn't feel as good as my practice lap that I did actually. I did like 40.7, so it didn't feel as good. But now we're heading to the line. It's been a pretty good lap now, and it's actually been one of our best laps around this track. And on this day, I was ever since switching up to 5.4, it just worked, and we actually brought it into P3. So a decent time there at the end of the session, very good indeed, and that puts us in P4 on the grid, which I believe is our best qualifying position of the season. So that was pretty impressed with that. And yeah, behind our teammate, but McLaren's Dylan McLaren 1-2 with Rapidz on pole, and obviously the Renault's in P3 and B4. The race is going to rain, so it's going to be interesting to see. And obviously I haven't run 5.4 wings in the wet before, but I had done some wet running with lower wings, so it should be interesting indeed. But here we go, running for 5 red lights for the Baku Grand Prix. And we have lights out, and away we go. We get a pretty decent initial launch from the line, and we're going to go down to turn 1 now. Around us a little bit. Oh, he moved across on Burnout, and we literally hit the side pod of Burnout, and we literally nearly went spinning. If we hit it maybe a little bit more, you know, on the inside of Burnout and more towards the front end of Burnout, we probably would have gone spinning there. So luckily we didn't go spinning and have the ping pong effect, but we're in P4 now. We've got Senna behind us. He's putting pressure on. He's on the soft compound tyres just to make sure, and he's only looking from the inside, but we're just leaving the space, and we're very cautious on this first lap. I wasn't pushing it. I didn't want to risk it. There was no point, as we're now Burnout actually I think apparently lost some front wing from that collision with all round at the start, so he had to pit in. And he pits in this lap, and we're following him and just using his slipstream to get a little bit of a boost. With Sir Hamilton behind us as well, and he actually bottled qualifying. He didn't actually have the best of qualifying. He was far down the field, and he's now into P5, so he's actually had a really good start to the race, and he's right behind us, and you do expect him to be coming very quickly. But now Bernard pits in, and we're going to be into P3. But look at Sarah Hamilton, look at that straight line speed, look at that slipstream, that almighty slipstream down this big long straight. He's on the inside, he brakes later than us. We're going to try and hang around the outside, but we're going to touch the inside. He's gone very deep, and we're going to try and go on the inside here. We're going to actually down the second gear. It's a bit risky. We go on the inside, we understeer into his path, and he goes around the outside, and he gets the move done. So I was a bit angry at the time with myself that I was a little bit clumsy. I think I could have been a little bit more forceful, but then I didn't want a collision. And we understeered through the castle section, and my momentum just went to Narnia, and I just clipped the inside wall, and I just went straight on, and I literally bottled and just made a mess of that castle section like an absolute knob. And now we're going to get past by Senna, and he's around the outside. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, not again. I was like, nah, it's just been a bottle of a sector. And now he's gone very deep. We needed to take this opportunity. We cut the corner slightly, we go at the inside, and we get the move done. So we're into P4 once again, and that is lucky. And he doesn't attack us down the straight, just to let you know. He doesn't do anything, but seemingly didn't have the strong speed. But by lap 4, we set our best lap of the race so far. And Sir Hamilton, it was very quick, but then he wasn't consistent. Like, I always found that maybe on one lap I'll be faster than him, and then the next lap he wasn't so fast. I don't know, I just think that he wasn't getting away from me very quickly. I was very surprised. But now Sir Freismer is now in P5, and we know how quick he is. But Sir Hamilton he actually makes a mistake here, and he's has he? Yes, he has. He has gone straight on, and we're now into P3. And I was like, oh my god, back into P3 again. And we were constantly in P3 for pretty much the whole race. So we're always battling for P3. And I was like, this is our moment. You know, I haven't had a podium on this game at all because I've been competing with faster people than me. I was like, this is our moment. This is our time to get the podium and fight for it. This is our best opportunity for a very long time since, you know, till the end of AOR. From last season, and now Freisman is looking he's looking very quick, and we're just leaving him in space. He didn't go for that move here, but he's setting himself up for the next DRS zone here as we enter this corner. It's a very difficult corner to get the exit right, and we get not a bad exit, but look at that, he's in the DRS now, he's in the slipstream, he's going to be chasing us down, he's going to go to the inside here. We're not going to put much of a fight on, with a long race ahead of us with another 19 laps to go, so we're like, you know what, just going to let you through, try and cut back, think about a cut back, but no. He has the line, and he parked it very well in the apex, so superb job from him, and he's now into P3, but we're just going to follow him now. Our tyres are towards the end of their life, so yeah, no problems there. But also, another thing is about the weather. I was talking to the engineer about the weather forecast, and at this point in this race, he said that there's no rain expected, 0% chance of rain, even though the forecast said that there was rain. I was like, okay, for the next time around, I'm going to pit on a set of mediums. So in this lap here, we actually are going to be Southampton actually is in front of us. I didn't show you how he got past us. I don't remember how he got past us. But we're now into the pit lane, and we're going to go to a set of medium tyres because that's what the engineer told me. He told me that there was no percentage chance of rain, so I just followed what the engineer was saying. And I was like, you know what, one stop, because it's a one-stop race. So I was like, just switch on the set of mediums, and then it should be a clear spell to the end of the race. That's what the engineer told me. But part of me knew there was going to be some sort of intermediate conditions playing in. Looking back on this race, because it did rain towards the end of the race, I should have put on a set of soft tyres in hindsight, and we would have been a little bit more faster as well, and we might have been a little bit more challenging for a better result in this race as we start to get used to the medium tyre. But coming on to lap 9 now, towards the end of lap 9, and we see that Senna's into the pit lane, and he's actually switched on a set of soft tyres as well, so he knows the rain's coming. My teammate Burnout as well, obviously after pitting very early, he pitted for a set of soft tyres, I believe, so he knew the rain was coming too. But now, sort of towards the end of this bit, now we're in P4. We're doing a really good job right now. You know, we're in front of Freismer, who actually was in front of us. And Sarah Hamilton's actually now retired from the race, and he's gone. He's actually hit the barrier, understood into the wall, I believe. and that's us into P3 once again. So pretty much it's like a knockout zone, and we were keeping it very clean, very conservative. I wasn't pushing hard, like I was pushing to an extent where I could feel that, you know, it was good enough. And we're doing a really good job right now. And now VSC has been deployed, and that's just slowed down the race completely, and that gives us a bit of a breather. But after VSC, I'd say I just drove very badly. The VSC ends now, and we're just going to go for it now and get a really good restart. We did get a restart, hit a very good restart here. We just flew for it, just went for it, and we get a little bit of a gap to surprise. And just for some reason the grip went, or maybe my confidence lacked, because like when the VSC comes out, like everything changes and almost your momentum's gone. You know, you're so much in a racing frame of mind before that VSC comes out. The VSC sort of slows things down, it sort of stops the momentum going, and I was struggling to get back up to speed again. Weird, I don't know. But surprisingly, once again, is right behind us now, and he's got this good chance here at lap 15. And the rain is coming. I've been told the team actually told me about a lap after I pitted. So I was like, okay, that's great then. I could have picked the softer tyre. And I think it's going to surprise me. He's in our slipstream now. We're not going to put up a fight once again. He has to get past us again. I don't know why he actually came out behind us. He must have had a really bad outlap on his medium tyres, but he gets past us. I let him through. I didn't battle him. I knew he was faster. There was no need to go all out with him. But he right now is the guy we're fighting in this race. Throughout this whole race, we were fighting Surprisement all the time, and it was great. It was a great feeling to be in this position where we were fighting. But I was always thinking about the points. You know, I never thought it's not worth going all out. You know, considering it is such an early part of the season. Surprisement locks up very much, and he's gone very deep there, and he's not on the best of lines. But the rain is coming very shortly in the next couple of laps, so we know about that. And coming on later on, the rain has come at this point in the race. So the rain was coming, the rain has come, and right now it's all about who's going to blink first. And right now I was thinking, you know what, it's not worth pitting in this lap. Probably about lap 19 it was worth it, as we go through the cast section. And we're keeping Surprise pretty honest. He's a much faster driver than me. I'm not going to admit it, I'm going to admit it that way. And we're keeping him pretty honest. We're keeping within distance to know that we've got a good chance. But now, lap 19, everyone surprisingly comes into the pit lane, and we continue for another lap because I felt that it just wasn't wet enough. But I went to turn 1, and I quickly regretted my decision, as we literally just lock up and go straight off. We just understeer, and oh my god, how close to the wall. If I clattered that wall, it would have been spanned. So that was horrible. And then into turn 2, I go straight on, lock up, hit the wall, end plate damaged. And at that point, I was thinking, for fuck's sake. And RBZ now, the race leader, has retired as well. So he's actually stayed up for the extra lap, and that was also a mistake for him. And he's out of this race. But now I literally was just struggling with the grip and just keeping it slow. But now I sort of feared that Surprise was going to jump us, and now heading down into this downhill section, I lock up again, and I was like, oh my god, I actually dreaded that I was going to lock off a front rail, but luckily we don't. We hit it on a nice angle, and we actually get a bit of a red end plate instead. So very lucky not to actually hit off a wheel or something like that. That was very lucky indeed. But now we're coming into pits. Now we have to. Otherwise, I'm going to be unstring like an absolute pig for the last 6 laps of the race. And yeah, at this point, I thought I'm going to be like 4th or 5th. You know, I'm going to be far down the order. I thought my podium had. I actually was in the party with Burnout. I was like, Burnout, I think I bottled this podium, mate. I actually believed I did. But going into pit lane now, it's going to be a slow stop for us. And very nice. You don't want to cut the entry. It does give you a warning if you do, which is, I think it's pretty fine, because obviously you're taking a faster entry into the pit lane, and it's going to be a very slow stop from the Renault boys. You see Surprise was coming up quickly, and I looked back at this, the amount of time I lost in the pit lane, I could have been much closer to Surprise. I mean, a wing change is about an average 5 seconds a lap slower, and I did about 7.4 I think it says. So, you know, normally about 5 seconds slower, and he was like about what 6-7 seconds up the road. So we could have been much closer and within targeting distance of Surprise Man. I could have put him under a bit more pressure, but unfortunately that mistake hurt us. But we still came out in P3. I was like, oh my god, I'm still in P3. Like, how the hell did I come out in P3? Considering I actually damaged my front end plate twice, and I crashed twice in that lap. So very surprised then. Surprise Man actually has gone completely deep, and I actually was very cautious going into that corner because I didn't know what the grip was like. Obviously, these are first lap on the intermediate tyres. Didn't know what to expect, so I was like, okay, just go cautiously. Could have maybe been a bit more punchy and maybe have overtaken him, but he's now left the session, and he's struggling with connection issues, and he's left again. and connection was a bit of a problem in the track. The audio is a bit off actually in these highlights, so I do apologise for that. I'll try and when I edit this, hopefully I'll put my voice a little bit louder than the actual footage itself, so you can hear my beautiful voice. I'm joking. It's a fucking annoying voice. But now we're just trying to keep with him, and we just closed up on him, and I was desperate to get past him, and I just couldn't. I literally just didn't have the confidence in the intermediate condition tyres. He's now resumed. He's now back in the session. His car is now active, and I was right behind him. I was like, you know what, this is not over yet, even though we didn't actually put in the pressure. But I just didn't have the confidence in the work conditions. I didn't want to risk it either. You know, when you're in P3 and you're in the podium, and this is the first time I'm actually realistically going to finish on the podium on this game. I haven't had a podium in league racing for over a year. I didn't want to risk it. But I knew second place was in shouting distance, but I didn't know how many penalties he had either. I had a penalty earlier on, but I didn't know how many penalties he had either. So, you know, I was keeping him in shouting distance. But like 24, he's extended the gap a little bit, and we literally understeered completely wide, and I was like, oh my god. But luckily we had the gap. Yeah, I just broke a little bit too late. I wasn't too confident on the brakes there, and that's just literally I think that's put the tip on for P3. I was like, at that point I was like, you know what, I'm not risking anything now. I'm just going to cruise to the end of the race. No problems, no issues, no risks needed. Just cruise to the end of the race, no issues. And now we're into cut section for the last lap of this race, and it's been a very good race indeed. P2 could have arguably been on the cards. I think we could have taken our chances a bit better with P2, but considering, you know, our crash as well, you know, considering we came P3 with our crashes in the not the front wing being knocked off twice in that lap for our intermediate conditions, staying out long on those slicks. P3 feels like a victory to me, and that's just great to be back on the podium. All-rounder wins on his debut. GG to him, he's a superb job, and obviously surely would have won. And then at that point I was so excited, that last corner, I was so excited, I was like, this is P3 now. Heading into this left right, I took a little bit of risk there, and then just now it's just a long wait to the line now, no messing around, no problems, and here we come. We're going to come in P3, and I was so happy with that. It felt like a win. It's been my first podium for over a year, so long time coming, and what a result that is for us, and that puts us back in the championship. So superb job, and I'm so happy with that. P3 and P6 for Burnout, but I think that means that he gets promoted to P5 because Arctic didn't finish the race, and he didn't even start the race, so I don't know how he finished in P4. So Burnout will get into P5, so good points for us, but McLaren got a win there with all-rounder. I think even Rapidz scored some points as well because he finished, I think, over 75%. So good result for us. A well-deserved podium. That was the aim for the season, and to get a podium was fantastic. Definitely a Baku for my first race at Baku. So guys, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more on the channel. I'll see you for some more highlights later on. See you soon, guys.